Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Finn Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Finn Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it aqua tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess. What's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing this beautiful Tuesday morning? Last week of the NFL season is here. Man, I'll tell you what, the NFL season just seems to fly by. Sad to see it come to an end. Very strenuous year for us Miami Dolphin fans. Not the way that I seen this year playing out. I know a lot of you did see it playing out this way. A lot of you tried to tell me that, hey, Big C, you're wrong. You know, you got too much opium. We're going to be a bad football team. And I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to believe it. And, you know, we weren't good this year. A lot of things happened. QB1 is no longer QB1. Chris Greer is no longer the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel is still the head coach, but for how long, who knows? A lot of questions still yet to be answered, but a lot of questions have been answered. But this team is still a mystery. We have no idea what the future holds for this football team. We don't have a clear direction and what way we're going to go with this football team. We don't know who's the general manager is going to be. We don't know who the head coach is going to be. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. Players that have been here for a long time, such as Jalen Phillips, have been traded. Bradley Chubb, who's been here for quite a while now, you know, he's on a contract that we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to fulfill, even though he's had a pretty good season for us this year. There's no way that we pay Bradley Chubb $31 million next year. So there's a good chance that Bradley Chubb's no longer here. Tyreek Hill went down with a devastating knee injury. He has a $50 million cap hit for next year. God only knows what player he's going to be able to, he's going to come back and be, if he can even come back. But we know that he's probably not going to be a Miami Dolphin. Sorry, we're crackling. Hold on. Hopefully that's better. But yeah, a lot of questions yet to be answered as we head into the final week of the season. But I know I am sad to see the 2025 season come to an end. It's a long time until we get to see meaningful Dolphin football again. A long, long time. It seems like forever. And now we enter this dead area, this dead space of time where, it's just all about assumptions. It's all about guessing, who are we going to take in the draft? Who are we going to sign in free agency? Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the general manager? How good are we going to be next year? It's all a guessing game, predictions, all just a bunch of hoopla. But we'll make it work. We'll continue to talk Dolphin football here on the Finn Posse podcast. And I'll be here for you, and hopefully you're here for me. But hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share. Congratulations to Elwood, who won the first ever Finn Posse podcast fantasy football championship. Great job to him. This was his first year playing, and he's already a champion. So congratulations to Elwood. Great job. To everybody that played, I appreciate you. Thank you for playing. I was a first round exit. I wasn't happy about that. I lost both my leagues. My other league, I was straight dominating, 200 more points than the next closest person. And, it's just atrocious. Miller, mind your business. Mind your business, boy. Mind your business. Don't worry about somebody else's money. Worry about you were supposed to be in. You was scared. You was scared, Miller. You was scared to play. You was supposed to be in, and then showed us. Worry about yourself. Miller be scared. Miller be scared. He was scared of the fantasy football. He was a no-show. We had to fill his spot. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Elwood took your spot. Elwood stepped up and was like, yo, I never played before, but you need someone else, I got you. But you've seen the topic, the title of the video. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Yeah, you've seen the title of the video. Lamar Jackson. And a lot of rumors going on with Lamar Jackson. That they were expecting. There seems to be a rift between John. Supposedly Lamar Jackson's fall worth the effort. Just with when you have a high-priced franchise quarterback, I guess. Not every high-priced franchise quarterback acts like that, of course, but from time to time you get those type of players. I'm sure John Harbaugh is frustrated with how the Ravens seasons turned out. That franchise is used to so much more. They're not used to being a fringe playoff team. They're not used to going into week 18 with minimal playoff hopes. They're used to having the division sealed up. They're used to being a favorite for the Super Bowl in the AFC, yet they have not made the Super Bowl under Lamar Jackson. So this is a very a very uncomfortable position that the Ravens are currently in, and you know it seems like it may have hit a breaking point. And now usually when there's some smoke, there's some fire. I mean, do I believe that there's issues with the Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson? John Harbaugh came out and said, "Hey, I love Lamar Jackson publicly," and that's what he's supposed to do as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Uh, but is there issues? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. And at this point, whose side do you take if you're the Baltimore Ravens? Do you take your long tenured head coach, or do you take the side of your franchise quarterback? I mean, John Harbaugh's shown that he can have success without Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's never shown that he can have success without the Baltimore Ravens. Uh, but it comes down to it. Would the Baltimore Ravens really be interested in trading away Lamar Jackson? And what would it cost a team like the Miami Dolphins to go and trade for Lamar Jackson? And would it be smart for the Miami Dolphins to trade for Lamar Jackson? Now, let me give you my take. Obviously, the thought of having Lamar Jackson in Miami is absolutely a great thought, especially after what we've dealt with the last few years. The inconsistencies with Tua, the lack of mobility with Tua, the thought, the images that we can conjure up in our head of what an offense with Mike McDaniel and Lamar Jackson could look like. It seems like it would be a beautiful pairing, a match made in heaven. But would it really? Now, let me take you. Lamar Jackson has injuries. He's been hurt quite a few times. Missed large stretches of games throughout his career. I think he's missed 17, 18 games in his 8-year career, which doesn't seem like it's a huge amount, but it's been crucial times in his career. Now, I'll say this about Lamar Jackson, too. Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs. He's 28 years old, about to turn 29. He's got a huge contract, obviously. But the guy's never been to a Super Bowl. He's never won a Super Bowl. And I pose this question to the Dolphins fans who are in support. Hold on. Crackling again. Some days this thing goes crackling. Other days it doesn't do nothing. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I pose this question to Dolphin fans that are in support of Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson hasn't had success, and I'm talking about playoff success, Super Bowl success, if he hasn't had that in Baltimore, what makes you think he's going to come to Miami and have that type of success? What makes you think that he'd be able to come to Miami and have that type of success? What makes you think that he'd be able? Hold on. Jesus. My apologies, folks. But again, do you feel like the Miami Dolphins roster is better than the Baltimore Ravens roster? Do you feel like Mike McDaniel's a better coach than John Harbaugh? Do you feel like the Miami Dolphins are a better ran franchise than the Baltimore Ravens? And I think the answer to all three of those questions is no. I don't think that the Miami Dolphins roster is better than the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think the franchise is ran better than the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't think that Mike McDaniel's a better head coach than John Harbaugh. So if Lamar's unable to take the Baltimore Ravens to a Super Bowl, what makes you think that he could take the Miami Dolphins to a Super Bowl? And then, mind you, Lamar Jackson's 28 years old. He'll be 29 years old January 7th, coming up here in a few short weeks. He's been injured throughout the first years of his 8-year career. Those injuries are only going to continue to pile up as he gets older. He's going to begin to lose a step, which naturally happens. Father Time is undefeated. And then not to mention the amount of draft capital that you'd have to get up to get Lamar Jackson. So, does this trade make sense for the Miami Dolphins? No. No, it does not. Would I love to have Lamar Jackson in a Miami Dolphin uniform? At one point, yes. Yes, I would have. Yes, I would have. And if you tell me that we could have took Lamar Jackson and put him on that 2023 Dolphins team with Tyreek Hill in his prime, with Jalen Waddle, Moser, Achane as a rookie, absolutely, I would have felt like, you add Lamar Jackson to that roster, without a shadow of a doubt, we would have been a legit Super Bowl contender. When Lamar Jackson was a free agent, absolutely sign him up. I would have took him on the Miami Dolphins in a second. But at this point in time, with the way this roster is set up right now, because we have more holes than just quarterback, folks. And I know we've played better down the stretch. I know we have. This defense has played well down the stretch. Our secondary has played above and beyond their potential. But there's still holes. This offensive line has outperformed itself. This offensive line isn't supposed to be as good as it has been. We have no real weapons at wide receiver. And I know there's the big Jalen Waddle fans out there. I apologize to you, but Jalen Waddle's not a number one wide receiver. If I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. He's not a number one wide receiver. We don't have better tight ends here in Miami than what they do in Baltimore. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, great tight ends. Darren Waller's had a nice comeback story this year, but he's not Mark Andrews. He's not Isaiah Likely at this point in his career. Here, let me get my email for these guys real quick. Sorry about that. Just try to get this email out to them real quick. Finn Fam for life. And you guys can, any of you in the chat can take this email down and message me at any time. It's cool. I may not see it right away, but you know, I love to talk to each and every one of you. Phenomenal Pod says he's not a quarterback playing quarterback. It makes, if that makes sense. I don't agree with that. You know, back in the day, at the beginning of his career, Lamar Jackson's a running back playing quarterback. I don't believe that anymore. Lamar Jackson's done enough with his arm. He is a quarterback. He's no longer. I no longer agree with that sentiment. I no longer agree with that. Lamar Jackson is a true blue quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback, maybe the best dual threat quarterback we've ever seen in this league. But he is a quarterback. He is absolutely a quarterback. He's done too much. He's done too much throwing the football. I think he's got 5 perfect passer rating games in his career. And I think 3 or 4 of them came against the Miami Dolphins, which is absolutely sad. So let's take a look at what Lamar Jackson's done in his career. Lamar Jackson passing the football. He's got a career completion percentage of 64.8. This doesn't show his interceptions, which is crazy. Let's see if I got it on here. Lamar Jackson's career stats. Can't believe it didn't say how many interceptions he had on there. Let's see. Okay, here it is. 184 touchdowns to 55 interceptions. That's a pretty good percentage. 22,000 yards passing. Like I said, completion percentage of 64.8. Running the football, he's got 6,500 yards, add on another 35 touchdowns. Very good numbers. 2 MVP seasons in that time period. And again, he's missed 17 total games over the course of an 8-year career. What would a trade look like for Lamar Jackson? What would the Miami Dolphins have to give up? And would it even be possible? We're on the hook for Tua Tagovailoa's contract next year. Everybody knows that. Could the Miami Dolphins even pull off a trade that works financially with the Baltimore Ravens to bring Lamar Jackson here? Because I'm pretty sure his cap hit for next year is $74 million. $74 million. That's absolutely crazy to have both those contracts on the books. But is it possible? Is it possible? And I think there's a way. I'm not great with the salary cap, but I do believe there is a way that the Miami Dolphins will be able to pull it off. This is the last year that Tua Tagovailoa is under contract with the Miami Dolphins. After that, we're free and clear. We're going to have a ton of cap space. Lamar Jackson, if they can rework his contract, turn a lot of the money he has this year into a signing bonus, add money in future years down the road, I'm pretty sure that the Miami Dolphins could figure out a way to pay both Lamar Jackson and Tua Tagovailoa this year. How much money would they have left to build a roster around them? That's another question. That's a story for another day. But could they physically do the trade? I think they probably could. But what would they have to give up? And this is what I think a trade would probably look like. Maybe they get the Ravens to take Tua Tagovailoa, but I doubt it. But so cross Tua right off of that. The Miami Dolphins would have to give up the 2026 first round pick, 2027 first round pick, and 2028 first round pick. The Dolphins would get Lamar Jackson, a 2028 fifth round pick. So cross Tua right off there because that's not real life. So the Miami Dolphins would have to give up their 2026, 2027, and 2028 first round pick for an aging quarterback that's never won a Super Bowl. As a Dolphin fan, would you pull the trigger on that? Would you pull the trigger on that trade? Because that's what it's going to take. Now, Glenn, let's not jump out the window. Don't say you don't want Lamar. Don't say you don't want Lamar. I mean, if you had a choice right now to take Lamar Jackson on your team free and clear, you want to take Lamar Jackson? You want to take Lamar Jackson? Forget the three first round picks. Glenn, that's crazy to me. You want to take a guy that is up for MVP year in and year out to be on your football team, but you take Tua Tagovailoa? Michael, I'm talking about straight up. If you didn't have to give up anything for Lamar Jackson, you wouldn't take Lamar Jackson on your team? If we could just sign him. If we could just sign him, you want to take Lamar Jackson? It's been 2 years since he's been MVP, and he should have won it last year. Let's be real. He should have won it last year. Josh Allen stole it. We're paying Tua almost that much, brother. When Lamar's healthy, he's a top two or three player in the league. But I mean, that's here nor there. That's here nor there. I just wanted people's opinion whether they like Lamar Jackson as the player, and I don't know how you don't. I don't know how you don't. He constantly has the defense on edge, whether he's going to take off running. He's such a unique talent with his running ability. He's got to be the greatest running quarterback of all time. And you know, I tend to favor Mike Vick because I grew up watching Mike Vick, and I don't know if there was a better pure runner than Michael Vick at the quarterback position. But Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson's been phenomenal. Yeah, I mean that was a hypothetical, unrealistic. Question. It was. I admit that. I admit it. Miller wants Lamar here at all costs. I mean, has he? I don't know if he's shown that he's lost his running abilities. He hasn't had to run as much because they have Derrick Henry. He hasn't had to run as much because they have Derrick Henry. So, I mean, there is that. But overall, I think it'd be a bad move for the Miami Dolphins to mortgage their future on a quarterback that is aging, that does have a history of injuries, and that, let's be real, he's never won anything with a franchise that, to be honest, is better than the Miami Dolphins franchise. And, that might be a hard pill to swallow for Miami Dolphin fans, but it is what it is. The Baltimore Ravens are a better ran franchise than the Miami Dolphins. So at this point, I'd have to say no. I'd have to say no on a trade for Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think he instantly makes the Miami Dolphins better, but the damage it does to the future of the Miami Dolphins, I don't know if it's worth it. We're not a quarterback away from competing. We're not a quarterback away from a Super Bowl championship. That ship has sailed. A couple years ago, yeah, I would say we were a quarterback away from being serious championship contenders. At this point, no, we're not. We're not. We're not that. So now, the mortgage our future for a quarterback that is only going to, we've seen the best of Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to ever be as good as he once was. Now, will he still be a top NFL quarterback? Yeah, I think he's still got a couple more years of that left in him. I think Lamar Jackson can still be a top tier quarterback, an elite quarterback for another couple of years. But are Lamar Jackson's best years behind him? Absolutely. Absolutely. In my opinion, they are. See, Glenn, I don't think we have to keep Tua on this team. I don't think we have to keep Tua on this team. Matter of fact, I think you do everything possible to get Tua off this team. If you can find someone that can eat his contract, you give them the draft capital that they ask for to get Tua out of here. At this point in time, Tua's not even a good option to back up the starting quarterback. He just doesn't have the arm talent anymore. He just don't got it. Don't say nobody, Glenn, because we've seen it happen before in professional sports. The Miami Dolphins ate Brock Osweiler's contract from the Denver Broncos. Do you remember that? The Broncos gave Brock Osweiler a huge, huge contract. In that year that we went 1-15, I think it was, we ate up his contract and we got draft capital in return. So don't say nobody. You'd be surprised. Now, in my opinion, you don't make this trade for Lamar Jackson. There was rumors about Joe Burrow. You definitely don't make that trade. Joe Burrow's been hurt more than anybody in this league. There's rumors going around that the Miami Dolphins offered 4 first-round draft picks for Joe Burrow. I'm glad that that didn't end up happening. I'm glad that didn't end up happening because we'd probably be in an even deeper hole than we are right now. Now, I think the Tua was the wrong choice, but at the time, I didn't think it was the wrong choice. I was naive. I would have made a mistake for this Dolphins team because I would have drafted Tua. I probably would have drafted Tua. And that's just because I don't like Oregon quarterbacks. I would have never took Justin Herbert because I just don't have faith in Oregon quarterbacks. And the fanfare and the love that Justin Herbert gets kills me. The love and fanfare that Justin Herbert gets absolutely kills me. And I get he's a big, strong, athletic quarterback. He can make every throw. But what has Justin Herbert won? What has Justin Herbert done in this league that Tua Tagovailoa hasn't done? I just don't see, if he's such a superior player, he has nothing to show for it. Yeah, everybody wants to be on this guy's jockstrap 24/7, and I just don't get it. Oh, Osweiler was proven. He was proven that he was trash. Brock Osweiler was trash, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Again, there's going to be a lot of time to talk about this Miami Dolphins team and what they should do this offseason, the future moving forward. We'll know a lot more in a week's time, right? Because Black Monday is rapidly approaching. If we're going to make a change at the coaching position, it's probably going to be next Monday. Typically, Black Monday is the first Monday after the regular season ends, and that's when you'll get the majority of your head coaching fires. So if Mike McDaniel's still the coach next Tuesday morning, I mean, chances are he's going to be the head coach for the 2026 NFL season. And again, I'm not against it. I think we do need to eventually find someone that can take Mike McDaniel's spot, because Mike McDaniel still has his issues. And at this point, after 4 or 5 years with the Dolphins, he should have worked past those. He should have learned from most of his mistakes, yet we still continuously see him make the same mistakes. Just this past Sunday, a really good game overall by the Miami Dolphins. But even in that game, Mike McDaniel took the pressure off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He went far too conservative in the second half. And what happened? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in a position to kick an onside kick and get themselves right back in this football game. All because Mike McDaniel went super conservative for the whole second half. He took the pressure off them guys, and it almost cost us. Instead of going for the kill. If Tampa Bay would have even performed at a decent level last week, they probably would have beat us, because we gave them ample opportunities in the second half. Because we were more than okay with a couple runs, incomplete pass on third down, and punting the ball away. No, we should have came out and put pressure on them at the very beginning of the third quarter and got them down a couple scores. But we didn't do that. So we have a lot of questions to answer. At this point, Quinn Ewers, he's going to have another week this week. This is a big week for Quinn Ewers to see what he can do against the New England Patriots team that still has something to play for. They'll still be playing their starters. Now, I think the New England Patriots are overrated, but, they're still a pretty good football team. So we'll see what Quinn Ewers can do this week. Should Quinn Ewers be the starter for the 2026 season? I wouldn't go that far. I know I wouldn't go out and sign a high-priced free agent, and I would not draft a quarterback high in this draft. If you want to take a gamble on another 5th, 6th round pick and grab a quarterback late in this draft to bring in to compete against Quinn Ewers, I'm cool with that. 2026 season for the Miami Dolphins, I'm gonna, and I hate to say this so early, but I don't have high hopes for the 2026 NFL season. I just don't. And it's because we have to take such a huge cap hit for Tua, which really cripples our franchise. It really cripples the things that we can do. So I go into this offseason with Quinn Ewers likely the starter for next year. Like I said, I'd bring in some competition, but no high price guys. I'm not trading for anyone. I'm not going to get Kyler Murray. I'm not bringing in Kirk Cousins. I'm not doing any of that. I'm letting Quinn Ewers have an opportunity. And if he can somehow become the franchise quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, that is absolutely huge for us. But if he doesn't, that's cool. That's cool. Hopefully we have a high draft pick going into the 2027 season, 2027 draft, where I feel like that quarterback draft is going to be far superior than this one. You should have more from Oregon. You should have Arch Manning. You should have Sellers. You should have quite a few people coming out in that 2027 draft that I feel like have the possibility of being a franchise quarterback. You should have your new head coach by then. And you should have a ton of cap space to fill this roster out. So I think 2027 is the real target year for the Miami Dolphins to get back on track, for the Miami Dolphins to get to be a competitive football team that has an opportunity to win playoff games and hopefully has an opportunity to make a Super Bowl run. And I think that's the earliest we get back to that stage. But as far as Lamar Jackson goes, I'm out. Obviously, if the Dolphins decide to do that, I'm going to support Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure a piece of me will be excited because Lamar Jackson is 100% a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal football player. And I mean, it's Lamar freaking Jackson, 2-time MVP. You're going to be excited a little bit, but I don't think it's the best move for the Miami Dolphins. I just don't. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. The Miami Dolphins finish out their season this week against the New England Patriots. I think we can move up to 8 in the draft, the very highest. I think the lowest we can fall is to 13. So we shall see. Minka Fitzpatrick's probably not playing. Jordan Brooks is a game time decision. Brewer's probably not playing. Yeah, it is what it is. But we'll continue to break it down here on the FinPots podcast. I love doing this, and we got a lot of speculating to do over the course of the next 8 months of no Dolphin football. It's a sad time. It's the dead zone, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you all tomorrow. And you know what it is. Fins up, baby. Peace.
Yo. Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. We know the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play by play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.